So now we're going to look at some exercises and activities to help us with our fine motor skills. So fine motor skills involve the use of the smaller muscles in our hands and fingers. And these are the ones that help us to do so many of our everyday tasks, including getting the lids off food jars, putting light switches on and off, or doing up the buttons of our clothes. So we can tend to lose some of these skills as we get older, and regular practice really is the way to maintain and improve the skills that we already have. So we'll start with a couple of exercises to warm up these muscles in our hands, and then I'll show you some activities that you can practice with things that you may already have in the home. So you might want to pause the video here, and if you have one, go and get a jar of loose change or maybe a couple of sheets of blank paper and a pen or pencil. You can always come back to the video another time for a reminder of these activities. So let's do some warm-up exercises for our hands. So first of all, if you can bring your palms together, okay, and push gently against each other. And you should be starting off with your fingers together. And then we're going to spread our fingers wide. Just hold that for a few moments and then bring them back together again. Let's do that again. So pushing our palms against each other with our fingers together to start. And then spread your fingers wide, hold that for a few moments, and then back together again. So we're going to do that another 3 times, okay? So spread the fingers wide and hold, and then back together. 2, spread them wide, and back together. And the last time, spread your fingers wide again, still pushing the palms together, and then close. Okay, very good. So now we're going to hook our fingers together. So if you curl your fingers on both hands and then just hook both sets of fingers together and pull gently in the opposite direction. Now this is really good for grip strength, and you should also be able to feel it in your arms a little bit. Just going to hold that for a few moments. Then we're going to swap our hands over and pull in the opposite direction. So keeping your fingers curved, just turn them over and pull again. And again, we're just going to hold that for a few moments. That's it. And relax. Okay. For this next one, we're just going to push our palms together for about 10 seconds or so. Okay, I'll count you through it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and give your hands a good old shake out. Okay. So if you manage to find a loose change jar or a saucer of loose change, now we're going to sort all the money out and build it up into stacks. And this is really good for our fine motor skills. So I think I've got just about one of everything here. So I'll start with the pennies, and then the 2p's, and then the 5 pence pieces. I think I saw a 10 here. There we go. 10 pence, 20. There's a 50 in here somewhere. There we go. And a £1 coin. So once you've sorted out all your money into the different denominations, then you can start to build it up in stacks. You can use both hands for this activity, and it's really good for the fine detail and small movements that you need to build these stacks. And it's quite a good job done as well at the end of it. You can count up the money you've got. And it's always more than you think in these jars and saucers, isn't it? It soon mounts up. So again, lots of just small movements to build these towers up. And they all have to be directly one on top of the other. And at the end of it, you could always sort out the different denominations into plastic bags, maybe for taking to the bank one day. Or lots of supermarkets have machines, don't they, for sorting change out now, which is really handy. Okay, I think that's all my 1 pences. So I'll have a go at stacking the 2s. Not quite so many of them, I don't think. So again, it's all these small movements, very fine detail, which is really good for keeping the detail in these movements. Okay, and then the 5Ks. There we go. I've just got one more 10 pence to add to the stack here. And quite a few 20s. Okay. So yeah, the first thing to do is to sort out the different denominations and then try to build them up into the different stacks just using the small movements. And then once you've done that, you can count out the money that you've got left. See what it all adds up to. So if you've got your blank sheet of paper, this is a really good exercise, not just for grip strength, but also for isolating the different finger muscles. So what to do is just take one hand and take your piece of paper, and without using the other hand, pick it up and just scrunch it right up into a little ball. Squeezing as hard as you can once you've got it really rolled up. Okay, just give it a good old squeeze. And then, still using just the one hand, see if you can spread the paper out again on the surface. This is the tricky part, but it's really good for making all the individual fingers work independently. And it really makes you think and concentrate as well. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's a really good exercise, and you can just do it with any sheet of paper that you have perhaps lying around in the house. And for an extra challenge, you can always try doing it with your other hand as well. See how you get on. Yeah, it's really good for concentration as well as fine motor skills. It's a really good exercise, this one. And just stretching your fingers out to smooth the paper out as much as you can. So yeah, it's a really good exercise for fine motor skills. Give it a try. So if you've got a pen or pencil handy, this is another great activity that you can do to help improve your fine motor skills. So pick up the pen or pencil at the end, have your 4 fingers underneath and your thumb on top, and then walk your fingers and your thumb from one end of the pencil to the other. When you get to the other end, try and turn the pencil over and then repeat the process by moving back down to the other end again. And you can just keep going, so just keep turning the pencil over and walking your fingers and thumb up from one end to the other. Now this is really good for your grip and also for helping your fingers to move independently of each other. And you can just practice it in front of the TV, or if you're listening to the radio or some music, you can do it really anywhere. So it's a really useful exercise. So I hope that you enjoyed doing these exercises, and I hope this gave you some ideas for activities that you can do to help maintain your fine motor skills with things that you have in the home. So first of all, we sorted our coins out into the different denominations, then stacked them up into piles. Then we got a piece of paper, crumpled it right up into a ball, squeezing tight before flattening it out again, and then walking from one end of the pencil to the other. Thank you for joining in. So let's make a bookmark. Now, doing craft activities can be really relaxing, as well as giving us something nice to show for it at the end. So today, to make a bookmark like this with a tassel, we're going to need a ball of wool or embroidery yarn, a pair of scissors, and a small box or book to wrap the yarn around to make the tassel. So now might be a good time to pause the video if you'd like to go and collect these items from your home so you can make the bookmark with me. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to begin by cutting a couple of lengths of yarn from the ball of wool. So they should be between maybe 1 foot and 1.5 feet in length. And we're just going to put them to the side. We'll be using them later. So that's 2 lengths of yarn between 1 foot and 1.5 feet long. Now the next thing we're going to do is wrap some wool around this box. But before we start doing that, I'm going to unravel quite a lot of wool first. I just find it's a bit easier to do that, and especially when the ball of wool is as big as this one. It can be a bit awkward otherwise. Okay, so take the end of your wool and hold it in place with your thumb of your other hand towards the centre of the box, and then we're going to start to wrap the wool all the way around the box. Okay, so we're going to wrap it round about 20 times. The more times you wrap it round the box, the thicker the tassel will be. So it's to your own preference, but I find about 20 times creates quite a nice effect. So again, just keep holding the end of the wool with your other thumb as you wrap the other length around the box. So this is really good for using up any odds and ends of wool that you might have lying around. It can create a nice bookmark for yourself or for any book lovers that you know. Okay, so we're getting there. It's about 15, I think. And just do it another couple of times. Okay. So once you're satisfied with the number of times you've wrapped it round, just cut the wool off at the end. And then we're going to slide all the wool off the box. So we've got a nice loop like this. Okay. So then we're going to take one of the lengths that we cut earlier and thread it through the loop. And we're going to tie a double knot at the top. And pull it nice and tight. And do it one more time. Okay. That's perfect. So now we're going to take our other length of wool that we cut earlier, and we're going to tie it round the top of the tassel. So again, we're going to do another double knot, leaving one short end and one longer end. Okay, so we've got the long end here and a shorter end. So another double knot towards the top of the tassel. Again, pull it nice and tight. Okay. Then we're going to take the long end and start wrapping it around, moving towards the top of the tassel. So again, wrap it around quite tightly. And it's going to create this nice effect that we have here. Okay. So again, this is very good for our fine motor skills, all our muscles in our fingers, keeping our fingers all working independently. So once it gets near the top, we're going to tie it in a knot with the shorter end. Okay, so it should look something like this by this time. Okay, I'm going to find that shorter end and just tie it in another knot. Okay, and then you can just trim these ends. Okay, then we're going to cut this loop at the bottom to give us our tassel shape. Okay, and there we are. So it might be a nice idea just to do another double knot at the very top. And we have our bookmark. Okay.